Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of Relighting. Today's scene is HQ Residential House. It was free at the marketplace. So I downloaded this, added it to my project here, and I opened them up. You need to know the following. In my project here, I have the GPU Lightmass enabled. I'm using Unreal Engine 426, and from the project settings and virtual texturing is also enabled. And of course, since ray tracing is enabled, the default RHI is set to DirectX 12. Now, I'm not gonna use ray tracing, but we need it in order to use the GPU Lightmass. And to build light with the GPU Lightmass, once you enable it, when you go to build, you can find it here. And usually what I like to do is just dock in it here on the side. I'm gonna make a duplicate of this level I already made. Press Ctrl W and name it to Relight. I'm gonna open this map and I will remove ray tracing features and I will delete all the lights or just disable them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna delete the post-process volume, select lights and delete them too. It's okay to keep these blueprints. As you can see, the performance is extremely bad because I have about 9,000 objects with unbuilt lighting. So to mitigate this, what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and build the light. As you can see, since I have virtual texturing enabled and I'm using the GPU Lightmass, I can see my progress bars like this, and this looks dope. At the very end of this video, we're going to compare the CPU Lightmass and the GPU Lightmass. To make it render faster, you need to click on Ctrl R to disable real-time rendering features in the engine. So let's go ahead and also do that. It would be so much faster if we set the global illumination settings as low as possible and select some of these surfaces and see what's their light map resolution. Press on one static mesh in your scene, then press Ctrl Shift A to select every single static mesh in your project. Click override here and set everything to 64 because as you have noticed, some of these meshes, their default value 256, 512. So overriding the light map resolution, setting everything on 64 or even less, like 32, and setting the global illumination values also to as low as possible, like 32, will make our build times runs much faster. And you need your rendering time to be as fast as possible. And yeah, you don't want to waste time. For example, in the last build, if we kept the settings at default, it would take at least 5 minutes to build the light. Now, technically, it took only a few seconds. And now, as you can see, the frame increased. It tells you need to build the sphere reflection captures. However, as you can notice now, we have ray tracing enabled still. So let's go ahead and add a post-process volume to our scene here. Once you add it, scroll all the way down to rendering features. And let's start with the ambient occlusion. Click enable here so we can modify this, set it to false. This means the ray traced ambient occlusions is not working anymore. And you can see how much difference ray tracing makes. It makes your scene look so much better just with one click. Next, let's go to reflection. Set the type from ray trace to screen capture, and you can see the difference now in the reflections and in the frames per second we have. I'm using GTX 1080 Ti, so I think many of you guys have the same GPU. Then let's see what other settings we have. The global illumination should be disabled by default, and usually the translucency is set to raster by default as well. As you can see, we still have like flickering and it's bad. Well, the reason by default all lights inside Unreal Engine, when you place them in your project, they have value that is enabled by default is cast ray traced shadows. You need to disable this. Compile, save. In our case, you can see we already have improvements here. So we need to do the same for every type of light we have. Search for cast ray tracing shadows. Compile, save. Let's see what type of lights we also have in the scene. This one is disabled. This one is disabled. I wish if there were a global value to just not to cast ray traced shadows. If you guys know, leave me a comment. Because as you can see here, disabling this on all of these is gonna be annoying. So I think because we're just relighting the scene, I'm gonna take the bullet and build the light or work with my scene with this enabled. That's pretty annoying. Let's disable them. So I'm gonna accelerate the video here while I'm disabling these. seems we disabled this value on many of these lights. So what can we do now is start improving the lighting we have. See if there is a value to turn off the light. So if there is any construction script on this guy. Nope. I will select all of these lights and also turn them off. So if you don't know, we have these actors that are currently on, and inside the content browser we have these actors that off and these are on. You can select these actors here, select the off, then right click and you will find replace selected actors with the, in this case since we have this selected, we can just click and disable the lights. The same for these lights here, you can select it, press Ctrl B to locate it in the content browser, then in the word outliner we can see these guys have the same name, then click on the off version, right click, replace actor with, and you know the drill. The same here. When I like to relight my projects, I just also like to get rid of all lights. So in this case, this lamp table, it does not have on and off, so we can just simply double click it, go to the light here, set the intensity to 0. Then let's see this material here. I think this one got emissive value, so if you double click this material you can set the emission intensity to 0. This means our light here is off. This is such a very nice material, by the way. You can see the emission texture here. These are the bright values, these are the dark values, in case you're wondering how these textures are made. So let's set this guy to 0 again. Let's turn off our television. Nice. Guys, I forgot to go all the way down. I'm wondering why this is not working. And set the post-process volume. In the post-process volume settings, set the infinite extent to unbound. And now you can see how better performance is. Now we're good. Now we're talking. This happens because sometimes we just simply need to rebuild the light. I don't know why I'm getting this recently in Unreal Engine 426. Let's go ahead and build the light. Okay guys, we're back. Look at this ugly light bake here, but we're getting places. Now, we need also to build our reflection captures. I wish I turned off these guys and the spotlights because I'm trying to get really dark interior. If we go here to the levels, make a duplicate of this relight and just work on this one. Make this one as a backup because I don't want to lose our progress. Awesome! I would like to grab a sun, so let's search in the place actors here for a directional light. Click and drag. Let it enter your scene. And let's just search for cast ray tracing shadows, disable it. You can see the massive difference we have. We can enable this later once needed. So let's go outside. You see right now we don't have a sky at all, so what you can search for in the place actors tab, sky atmosphere. Click and drag, nothing happens because we need to get our directional light. Go all the way down to atmosphere and cloud, enable this guy. Boom. Now we have physically accurate sky, because if we get our sun and rotate it, you can see how the sky is changing. That's incredible, guys. And the same on the let's also fill this black area with the height fog. Let's get a skylight. Let's set it to static for now. And let's click build light, guys. Light bake is finished. You can see here our lighting looks so good, just really good. What's not good is our rendering settings. Let's see how much time this one took. So I'm gonna close all of these first, then go to window, developer tools, output log, search here for time, go all the way down, and total lighting time took 43 seconds. Now, here's the fun part. Remember this number because once we increase the light map resolution and the light map global illumination settings, we will start getting much better lighting actually and results, but we will exponentially increase build times. That's fine though. Do we have cameras here? We do, which is incredible. I'm gonna go to one of these interior cameras, perhaps that's not super cinematic. This camera, for example, press F11 to go in the cinematic game mode. Actually, let's just also go to cinematic mode. Let's click F9 to take a screenshot. This is another nice place we can track. I think camera 5 and 6 should be fine. And we can come back here later, but let's take another screenshot. I like this bedroom. To make this shot look nice, let's start with the walls. The walls have a large surface here. The whole room actually is one piece, and this is what I don't recommend. This project is made for video games, which is completely fine. However, if you're working on ArchViz projects where you want super high quality contact shadows and stuff, you need to make this room into a smaller chunks. For example, this could be mesh number 1, this could be mesh number 2, and this could be mesh number 3, and this 4, and then 5. So this could like turn into 5 meshes. We were not gonna do this now. We will see if we increase our light map resolution to 1024 how this will look. However, also keep in mind, if you want to optimize your light bake time, it's also recommended to have your static meshes into smaller chunks. Let's select the floor here, and let's also set it to 1024, and the table here to something like 256. This guy, let's see what its settings here. Look at this. This guy also have like lights and stuff. Interesting. Let's select these guys, set this to 0. Actually, let's set it 70 and let's make it really warm. Let's select all these static meshes and increase the light map resolution to 128 for everything, and these two guys 256. Same for this plant, let's set it to something like 256, and this sofa, let's set it to 512. And let's bake the light. So let's set this one to 256 and this guy to 64, and let's click build light. I will see you guys in a moment. Oh, look at this. We forgot to increase the ceiling, so let's go ahead and set it to 512. This is why I love the interactive GPU Lightmass here. These progress bars are lifesavers. Same for this table. Even this chair. Finished light bake. This time it took 12 minutes, from 43 seconds to 12 minutes and 8 seconds. Wow. Let's go back to our old cameras. Camera number 6. Yes. Camera number 6 looks so much different. Look here before. All these ugly splotches and whatnot, and look now. That's awesome. Forgot to increase the resolution on these chairs, this lamp, but other than that, things are looking good. I really like when we make this apartment look realistic. It looks realistic, you know. It went from this cartoony look to this. Wow. One thing I think that is slightly a lot is the height. Exponential height fog. I think we should decrease this from 0.02 to 0.002. Yes. Let's see what happens if we enable this guy. Let's also enable the volumetric fog. You can see inside interiors with volumetric fog and without. However, also keep in mind that it's kind of little expensive. Let's go back to our post-process volume. Disable the ambient occlusion. Let's increase the resolution on the rest of our apartment. So lucky us, I think if we click on one of these walls, we can have the walls of the whole apartment like this. We can simply set all of them to 1024. It's crazy, I know, but I want to make all of this looks as high quality as possible. We have these doors, by the way, that they look out of place because they are movable. Therefore, movable objects are not baked. Keep that in mind. I'm going to ignore movable objects for now, fix them later. So the kitchen could improve some light map resolution. To do that, let's click edit, select the kitchen sets. So I believe we have multiple kitchen sets. See, kitchen B is this guy with the tub and the doors. So this guy can be something like 256 and the doors can be set to also 256. Click compile save. You can see the change meshes. This tells you that these are the next to change. Select both 256. Let's select all the floors as well and set them to 512. And let's pray for render times. I'm gonna press Ctrl+Shift+S. Before I build the light, I would like to achieve something that is slightly different. So I'm gonna select the sun and move it like so. We need to sacrifice with the sun, but it's okay to try different stuff. We need also to select all the ceilings and set them to a higher resolution. So I'm gonna select them, set them to 256, except for the ceiling here. I'm gonna put it 512 and the ceiling here as well. Again, let's go and pray for build times. I wish we were doing this while it's building the light so we can look at what other meshes we forgot to increase the light map resolution. The exteriors. Wow. All of this is one exterior. Yeah, that's not very good. Let's select the exterior and set it to 1024. 512. Let's set it to 512 for now. Alright, light bake is finished. This one took a good 30 minutes. This looks so nice, guys. Except for these movable doors that we will solve in the next tutorial. Okay. This, I think, is because of the virtual texturing. I'm gonna check out why do we have this. In the next tutorials, we're going to improve even better on this project by replacing many of these materials with materials from Quixel, and we will improve on the lighting and make some more cinematic lighting instead of something that is realistic like this. To see all of that, make sure you subscribe if you're not already, especially if you found this tutorial useful. And if you wanna learn a lot about architecture in Unreal Engine, make sure you get our Unreal Engine Architectural Masterclass, where we cover interiors, exteriors, blueprints, virtual reality, interactivity, and all that good stuff. It's an early access now, so if you get it, you get a good price on it, and we thank you for the support. I will see you guys in the upcoming tutorials. Cheers! Oh, why are you looking to the opposite side? Clock?